Crossover Thursday is presented by PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code LockedOnNFL to win $50 instantly when you play $5. I'm Joe Marino, host of Locked On Bills, joined by Tyler Rowland, the host of Locked On Titans. And it's time to talk about the path to victory for each side of the equation. Tyler, the Tennessee Titans come into Orchard Park, pretty heavy underdogs. What do they got to do? What do they got to do to get this win?
Well, I think number one, they have to run the football with success. If they don't do that, then they're going to put too much pressure on Will Levis, and he's not playing his best football. I think number two, they have to contain Josh Allen in the pocket. Going back to that game against Houston, watching Allen kind of struggle with some accuracy at times. I think you don't want to let Josh Allen out of the pocket and let him play make and do what he does so well naturally. I think you hem him in the pocket and make him kind of 10, 12 play drives, be accurate, be consistent over and over and over again, all the way down the field and hope for a mistake. And at the end of the day, the Titans got to pray. You know, like the Buffalo Bills are just a lot better football team. And I say pray tongue in cheek, of course, but really the third thing is they got to force turnovers. The only way that the turnovers are the great equalizer in football. A team can upset another team if they win the turnover battle. So if the Titans are able to force, 2 or 3 turnovers and protect the ball on their end, they're going to set themselves up with short fields. They're going to take away scoring opportunity from the Bills, who are probably going to drive the ball down the field with more consistency. So for me, if the Titans run the football, they contain Josh Allen in the pocket and make him play with precision and accuracy consistently, and then ultimately win the turnover battle by a significant margin, they'll be able to pull off a big upset, which the Titans and Bills have played some tight games. The Titans have pulled some upsets on the Bills in recent years, but that last matchup did not go that way, and this is a different Titans team. So I think if they do those 3 things, they give themselves a chance, but I think it's quite an uphill battle for the Titans to win this one.
No, the Bills will be excited to get back home. They just finished a 3 game stretch of all road games at Houston, at Baltimore, at the Jets. This is their first home game in a while, and so I'm sure they'll be quite excited to be back in Orchard Park. And you mentioned turnovers. I agree with you that the Titans are going to need some things to go their way to get this win. Surprisingly, the Bills have been really good at taking care of the football. They've only had two giveaways this year, and they were both lost fumbles. Josh Allen hasn't thrown an interception. It's not because there hasn't been catchable passes to be intercepted, but they got to catch them, right? So that's part of the deal. He's had some good interception luck, which maybe, as you mentioned with Will Levis last year, like that can happen where, you could have a lot more interceptions if the other team caught it. So I do agree with you that that's part of the equation here for Tennessee, and obviously running the football. And the Bills structurally, with the way they play defense, they give a lot of light boxes. They're very much focused on taking away explosives down the field, and they'll give you light boxes. They gave the Jets 76% light boxes, 6 or fewer. And they did the same thing with Baltimore, Tyler. So the ground game could be there. It's about, can you finish drives? And so it'll be fun to kind of see how that plays itself out, as I'm sure this Titans team's looking to find some momentum here and see if they can scratch and claw. I mean, obviously Houston looks good in that division, but I'm not sure anyone else does. So why not be the second place team and see if you can give Houston a run? From the Bills side of things, Tyler, I got 3 things written down. You mentioned earlier in our conversation the pivot, if you will, to getting the ball out of Will Levis's hands quickly, the quick passing game. I'll tell you what, that's not been something the Bills have been very good at defending. And I think this is going to be a good challenge for them. Obviously, there's good weapons here. They have good skill players in Tennessee. Tight end Chig and Pollard and 3 good receivers. Like they're good players. Give you some numbers here that might get you excited if you're a Titans fan. So far this season, the Bills are allowing 55.8% of all passing yards to come after the catch. That's the 6th highest percentage in the NFL. They're giving up a ton of yards after catch, despite the 8th lowest average depth of target. The Bills' defense is 25th in EPA on throws under 10 air yards, with the highest average separation at 4.5 yards. Where the Bills' defense is shaky is this quick passing game, perimeter throws, get the ball out quick into the hands of playmakers and make it a space game. And teams have had success doing that against Buffalo. And I think you still need to have some threat of verticality to your offense. But if Tennessee can stress the Bills' defense in that way, I think that's going to go a long way in maybe exposing an area of concern for the Bills and maybe leaning into something that Tennessee does want to be. Number two, I have written down, you got to be ready for a physical defensive front. This Tavondre Sweat dude's good, man. Jeffrey Simmons is good. There's some nice players in this front. You think about even Sebastian Joseph Day is a veteran.
Yep.
Ernest Jones is a good downhill backer. So there's some players here in this front, and defensively, I mean, all the metrics are good for Tennessee. And so, the Bills want to run the football, and I think this is a physical front that is going to be an interesting challenge, and especially a guy like Tavondre Sweat, who, to me, he's a math changer. What I mean by that is he changed. Like, you talk about playing light boxes, it's never a light box when Tavondre Sweat's in there, right? Correct. That guy's an animal, a really good-looking young player. So got to be ready for this physical defensive front that you can't take lightly. And then I think number three is take your chances with these corners. The Bills are looking to kind of, like you mentioned earlier, kind of get some explosive plays going in the passing game. They just traded for Amari Cooper. Kind of interested to see what his role is going to be on Sunday. But, man, L'Jarius Sneed has not looked good. And can you continue that? I mean, Sneed's been unbelievable. His time with the Chiefs against the Bills, he pretty much just took Stephon Diggs off the menu, right? You couldn't complete a pass on this guy. And he looks like a shell of himself. Well, you might want to try that out. And I'll tell you what, Jarvis Brownlee, I'm a big fan of him. He's still a rookie, right? You might want to try that out. So you have some opportunities here in the passing game that I think, as you're trying to get your perimeter threats going, you might have some good opportunities to test that out and see if you can get some chemistry established with Josh Allen and really his brand new wide receiver core that continues to be brand new.
Yeah, well, the Titans play a lot of cover 4 too, and I think that stresses the cornerbacks. You got to be able to play your side, you know what I mean? And you got to stay with them vertically, and it just requires a lot of during the play processing. And I've seen, at least like last week, there were coverage issues where, hey, am I taking this guy or are you taking this guy? In the past, the Titans have had problems with that. I mean, I know it was Shane Bowen's defense, not Denard Wilson's, but you're just asking a lot of cornerbacks when you're playing like cover 4 man like that. And I think that it does create some indecision. And if you can get a guy with some speed, maybe Keon Coleman won't take advantage, but if Amari Cooper is out there and maybe some wheel routes, like the Titans had a touchdown because they were playing cover 4 and Jarvis Brownlee Jr. stayed with the post, but then the wheel route came behind it and nobody was home. And like, you're just going to get yourself in bad positions if you aren't really playing coordinated defense and everybody understands. And when you have a young player like Jarvis Brownlee Jr. in there, there could be some indecision. And even L'Jarius Sneed as well has struggled with some of those during the play processing moments. There was a deep corner route by Joe Flacco last week that was wide open where Sneed didn't bail off the inside guy quick enough to get back to it. So Buffalo will probably have the opportunity to take advantage of those. A lot of those haven't hit because quarterbacks have been inaccurate. But if Josh Allen can put it on them, there are some chances for big plays because of the way the Titans like to play defense.
I'm really interested in this Titans defense because the Bills have the Baltimore Ravens, like obviously that coaching staff, that defensive coaching staff has been depleted. And the Bills have played all of them. They played Miami. So Anthony Weaver from Baltimore went to Miami. They played Baltimore, of course, like Zach Orr, who's their defensive coordinator, part of that staff. This week they get Denard Wilson, who's part of that Ravens staff. And next week they get Mike McDonald with Seattle. So this has been just an absolute tour of the Ravens defensive scheme. So you like to think they've had a lot of ideas and opportunities to kind of see what they can do. And we'll see if the Titans metrically continue to be a great defense. It'll be a fun game.